It's about to be. Let's do it. It's about to be. It's about to be. Let's do it. I know the money, but that's strong. And the hate, but that's long. But the crew, man, we stay on it. Yeah, the crew, but we stay on it. Like a light, I flip the switch. Like a light, I flip the switch. We about to hit. Yo, get it running, I'm about to hit. And then I hit it, running, go all day. Watch me, did I do okay? Listen, I don't really care about the grip. Yo, me and my team about to dip. Game over, little flip. Shut it down, man, go and sit. Headed every day like big crit. Yo, give it to me now, that's it. And then I told my girl, go look at this. And then I told my...
Everybody, welcome back to the Be Different podcast, January 26, 2018. And instead of recording on Wednesday, we're here on Friday because we had to take advantage of Nick Ruthsatz being available, the guy right to the left of me. I mean, Nick, you weren't available on Wednesday, so, you know, me and the crew, Greg, who I'm not sure what Greg's doing right now. He's moving around his hands. He's got a lot. He's getting real handsy back there. And we got Nick Given over here. But Nick Ruthsatz, welcome to the Be Different podcast.
Thank you. Welcome, Nick.
Long-time listener, first time ever actually being interviewed on the podcast. So do you feel okay?
No, yeah, I'm excited. I want to hear what Brad's got for me.
Are you overwhelmed right now?
No.
You seem overwhelmed. You seem overwhelmed. And Nick did bring a gift for me, not for the guys across the street from me.
I would never bring you.
I did bring him a
but
medium.
If Nick could bring me a medium, so I can fill that out, and I appreciate that. You know that a medium, that's the Hard Over Height hoops right here. We got I love the logo.
Get the back on there. Get the back on there. That's the
Nick is a man of sayings. He's got great sayings, and I love the keep doubting back here.
I like it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you like about it, Greg?
I like the wording.
Yeah.
Mainly the wording. The colors are nice too. They got the little FC Cincinnati colors going on.
I love the colors.
The colors are good.
It's got like that. It's got that mirror effect.
Cocath and Finley.
Yeah, it's got a great mirror effect. Oh, I see that. Cocath on the bottom, Finley on the top.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet. I like the left corner. That's well played.
What do you like the most about the left corner?
Well, my eyes go right to it, Nick.
Well, because it's the only thing on there.
Well, I know that, but some people want to. No. But trust me, a lot of people can screw up a good T-shirt. I mean, a lot of people I've seen they'll put logos, and the logo's like massive on the front, just like a huge circle. It looks ridiculous. This is perfect. It's nice. It's classy.
Nice
I'd
you had.
Yeah, absolutely. I would wear this. I would wear this to the club. I'd wear this out with some jeans. I'll also wear it when I'm working out. And he knows I got a medium because the only reason I work out now is to fill out a medium T-shirt. So everything that I do is to fill out a medium T-shirt. Nick Ruthsatz, thank you so much for bringing that.
Thank you.
All right, now I want to get to you. Okay, so I want to go through. I want to go through your life a little bit here. I want to do a little biography. Well, you're here, so autobiography of Nick Ruthsatz. I want to go back to your high school days first. We'll move on to college and then what you're doing right now. But high school, I mean, you had a fantastic career at Covington Catholic High School. You played for your dad, okay? How challenging was it to play for your dad? Was it more challenging early on, and then you guys were able to kind of work through it over the years? But for me, I know if I played for my dad, it would be very tough to practice with him and then have to go home afterwards, especially after a tough practice.
No, I mean, it was definitely difficult. Previous to that, we lived in New Jersey. I went to St. Anthony's, and he was an assistant coach there. And when you're surrounded by Bob Hurley and the way he goes about things, it kind of rubbed off my dad in more of a sense. So he had that New Jersey style to him when he came back here. And, it was very tough that sophomore year. I'm kicked out of a couple practices, you know. You going back home, find a ride home or
So
whatnot.
why did you get kicked out of a practice? Like, what was, like, the instant that happened? It's like, all right, I'm out.
I believe started a drill. I had 2 straight turnovers and he said, you don't want to be here, and that was about it. Yeah.
That was it.
That was
2 turnovers and out?
I think it was, yeah.
Jeez.
I don't think I'd caught him on the best day. That might have played a factor, but it was a quick trigger that day. But
was there anything like
it might have been the build
up?
Yeah, it might have been the build up of the week and some things I did. And I never talked back, but I would give him that look like it's on.
So when did you guys move from the East Coast to Northern Kentucky, and how did that happen?
Freshman year, I moved. Well, take it back to 6th grade. I moved from Sandusky, Ohio, to New Jersey. I went to 6 different schools in 6 years at one point. When I lived in New Jersey, I was the only white kid at my school, and we had about 70 kids and then like 18 girls, so the ratio was pretty crazy. We only had one gym. We had one bathroom in the whole school. Then coming from there, I come to CovCath, which is a big difference from there. We had, I think, one black kid in our whole school.
That's a change.
It's an all-guys school, and it's a big difference in, I would say, I guess, net worth type of people. In a sense, we're in an inner Jersey city, and then you come here to CovCath. It's a lot of different. I guess the people you meet is a lot different, but through that, I was able to create a lot of different, I guess, relationships. That was the biggest thing. I mean, that's the biggest thing I've been able to take away and connect with people, especially social media wise. It's big.
So you moved here as a
sophomore.
Sophomore. So
Yep.
that was your first year, and then you were immediately on the varsity team.
Yep.
So that, to me, that would be like a huge challenge, especially for the older guys, like the juniors and seniors that are on the team. Coach comes in, who's the dad, and then you have his son, who's a sophomore, playing varsity. Did you feel a lot of animosity from some of the older guys initially that eventually wore off, or did it kind of take that first year to kind of work through it?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was a guy just coming. I mean, but CovCath only returned 5 points that year.
Okay.
And I only averaged 3 points on JV in New Jersey, so it wasn't like I was coming over here. Not to say I didn't think I could, but yeah, I came in with the attitude like this is my place in a sense. But then it took a little bit, but I think after the first couple of weeks, they realized how much I really care about it and effort-wise I put into it, so they respected that, and then it kind of like took their roles in a sense.
When the turnaround has been, I mean, incredible. I mean, your dad's done a great job. Obviously, you did a great job as a player. I mean, the culture there is awesome. I've been able to go over there a bunch of times over the summer, meet with you, your dad, and the guys over there. I mean, that is a well-run machine now over at CovCath.
I mean, the first 8 players are going to go to school for free that play this year, I believe at least, and I think 5 of them already have offers. The next are just waiting for them. So.
Yeah, you got the big fellas going to Xavier. Frederick's going to Iowa. Aiden, I know he committed
to Christian Brothers.
Okay, he's at Christian Brothers.
AJ is a quarterback, but he's really good athlete. He's going to Miami, Ohio for football. His brother has Notre Dame offer for football. He's about, call him Mini Gronk. He's about 6'7", like 260.
Wow,
really
dude,
well,
I mean, you go over to CovCath, there is merchandise everywhere. like, dude, there's, I mean, everywhere you go. I mean, when I was doing like a ton of training and coaching, you go into a gym, I mean, there's 25% are going to be wearing CovCath shirts, shorts, I mean, jerseys. I mean, it is, I mean, it's becoming a cult over there. You guys have a cult over there. I'm a firm believer that CovCath is a cult now.
Brad, you shouldn't call Catholics a cult. They don't like that.
Sorry about
they
that.
They don't like that.
That's my.
You're gonna piss off. You're gonna piss off Jesus, man. You don't want to do that.
All right, we'll move on from high school in a second, but I do want to talk about you, state championship game as a senior. Man, you were such a tough player, man. I mean, when I would watch you play, I mean, I love the way that you competed. You're not the biggest guy, similar to myself, so I always appreciated you as a player. But to win that game, state champion, tournament MVP. Maybe just take me through that day, that moment. I think that's a special moment, one that a lot of people around here remember as well.
Yeah, that whole week was pretty crazy. I mean, we go down Thursday. We had the 8 o'clock game Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and all those games never started on time. So you're getting back at like 12 o'clock, 1. But then you do have the next day. But Saturday night we didn't get back till like 12:31. Then the only church or the only mass we could go to was 9 o'clock. So we had to go because Catholic school. So we were up early, 9 o'clock. Game was at 1, just after we had played last night. So it was, I mean, we were tired, but through then I think it was more adrenaline. Like, this is the biggest day. Most of our biggest days were our lives.
Did you sleep at all? Because I would not have slept an hour.
No, I did sleep.
Good.
I was able to sleep.
Good.
That was a good thing. But going into that day, we started out the game hot. I think we were up 9-1.
Who'd you play again?
Scott County.
Okay.
Yeah, they a pretty big school down in the Lexington area near there. But we started out the game hot, and then it was really cold until about probably like 3:30 left in the game. We were down, 8, I think. I had a 3, had come back. We cut it to 6. Then from there, it was just a slow. Basically, the next 4 possessions, I would get fouled, and then I would have to hit free throws, and then with 56 seconds. I got fouled again, went to the free throw line and tied it. Then we stopped them on defense and went into overtime. And then together there, we were able to, I think I was able to score a layup, get a steal. I had some pretty big plays down the stretch. You know, more that I think about it, but
As I'm
I mean,
saying,
we're just gonna keep going. It's like then I did this, then I did that, then I hit a three, then I hit a floater.
But we played. I mean, our team. If you look at us visionary, like if you look at our team, we had one kid that could dunk. Our tallest kid was 6'4". We had one kid that's playing at the D3 level now. And then we have Cole Von Hander, who's playing D2, but he was a freshman at that time, so that situation's a lot different. And it was all just about playing together, and everyone knew their role. And that's really what they preach now. But now they have a lot more talented guys in a sense at Covcast, so it's harder to deal with. But that's, I think, where they're trying to build a base off of.
Yeah, it's a big-time program over there. And then that embrace with your dad afterwards, how was that conversation? Like, once everything was done, right? You have the celebration, that all goes quickly, right? And you're with a ton of people, you're with fans, you're with friends. And then you get in the car with your dad, and it's just the two of you after that state championship game. How was that moment?
No, I mean, it was great. It was like, this is what we work for. I mean, sophomore year, no one had envisioned it. You're coming into a school that's never won it. Everyone talks about how hard it is because they're only one state champion, and then you just go and do it. It's kind of hard to put into words right when it happens. You're like, I mean, this, not to say this is it, but like this is what we wanted, and the memories, I guess, from it, and then just the community in Covcath just really embraced it and embraced my dad. I mean, yeah.
Scott Ruthsatz is a great man. Nick Ruthsatz is a great man as well. Now, you go from Covcath, the friendly confines of Scott Ruthsatz, and then you're going to Findlay. And I was on the phone with you yesterday, and we probably talk about it almost every time that we get an opportunity to catch up. But the level of play at the Division II level is fantastic.
Yes.
You know, I played at Xavier. You were at Findlay. I got a chance to play Findlay. It was actually my first game as a college player. We played an exhibition game against Findlay, and they almost beat us at the Cintas Center.
That's why they wouldn't play us again.
Well, and that was one of their best teams. I mean, really good. I mean, I was like, whoa, like these guys are legit.
Yeah.
And so I talked to a lot of players, and they're like, oh man, like, can you just talk about how good the players are at a Division II level?
I mean, I would take the skill level and a lot of, I wouldn't say the athleticism in a sense, but 1 through 3, they can compete with each other most of the time, especially skill level wise. Now, you might have taller athletes in that a sense in the D1 level, but D2 can hang. I would put guys with Findlay just up with almost all lower Division Ones, like we talked about yesterday, the 150 and the drop off, but the bigs is the biggest difference just in height wise. I believe. I think once you hit that 6'7", 6'8", 6'8", you don't see many in D2. That would be the biggest difference. We played Dayton my junior year, and we were up by 15 going into half, and they had made the tournament. Yeah, this was last year. They made the tournament, I'm pretty sure. We were up 8, and we ended up losing by 2. But, I mean, it was at their place. It was a great environment. We were able just to hang with them just as everybody else. We can shoot it. But we focus on, I guess, our shooting to our strength, but our rebounding and that type of thing, that's our biggest issue when going against D1 schools.
Yeah, I mean, at the Division I level for me, once I got outside of the top 100, I mean, if I stretch it to maybe 150, I mean, those teams have studs, like absolute studs everywhere you go. You get outside of the top 150, I mean, I think a lot of those teams are relatively pedestrian. Same thing, I think, goes for D2. You play against that upper echelon Division II talent. I mean, those guys are legit, and I think you make a great point. At the guard positions, those guys can compete against anybody. The size is where there might be a difference. So, Findlay, you're still taking classes there right now. So I want to get this right. Nick Ruthsatz is a guy, he moves around, he bounces around, he does not stay in one spot.
Yeah.
So you're still taking classes at Findlay. You're no longer playing at the moment. Kind of just like update us on that transition and kind of where you're at right now.
So I had stopped mid-January last year. Take that back to September. I had an idea about a business, a cybersecurity business, and I was always working on it, probably like 3-4 hours a day. Then October, I was like, I'm going to take this more serious. Took about 6 hours a day. So I was really entrenched in that and just deep in thought in that. I really didn't think about basketball in a sense. I was
at this time, this was preseason?
This was preseason.
Preseason, like conditioning before the season.
Yep. Before that. And so I'm going into basketball. I'm playing well in the preseason, I believe. And then as we get even closer and closer, I'm just not there mentally. But I still played, still compete. I still enjoy playing, but it was to the point where it's college basketball is very time consuming. I mean, 30, 40 hours a week. The road trips are crazy, and so I was just getting very frustrated, and I couldn't make any moves with the business. And then I had my first client, which is Bose Corporation. I was trying to close them for like 6 months, and at that point, we kept trying to schedule meetings, and it was always during basketball or something like that, and I could never get on the phone. So the next day, I'm like, before I just went into coach's office. I'm like, I'm not gonna play anymore. I got this business. I know it's gonna do well. Take from there, basically. What do you would want me to do? I'm still on scholarship, so that's a situation at its hand. But then from then until now, I still practice with the team like 2 or 3 times a week, depending on the situation. I go in there. I'm usually like the scout guy, the best point guard on the other team. And whatnot. So I'm still around the guys in that sense. I do the social media for them. So I'm still well connected, but I did stop playing, and I did stop playing.
Okay, so you're not playing right now, and then so you made a decision during the season last year?
Yep.
Okay, and it was about midway through the season, and then that's when you made the switch.
Yep.
So right now you're done with Finley, so you've moved on to do more entrepreneur stuff. So that company, is that now called Verified? Is that the company? And then what is the concept of Verified, and where are you at with that now?
So basically, we provide reports of counterfeit products on e-commerce sites. So like a eBay, a LetGo, if you ever an OfferUp, it's going to eventually go to like social media here in the future, but those are the ones we got right now. Hopefully Amazon here soon.
So you're basically finding illegitimate products, basically like counterfeit products, fake products, and then you have experience in that realm. Is that how did you get into that, and how did you know that there was like an actual market of
Brad? Why does your smile look so sinister?
Well, because I want him to share.
Because I was with him when I was doing it most of the time.
Well, because I would meet this guy, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He had all of these like Beats headphones. And I'm like, these aren't real Beats headphones, but they look like real Beats headphones. And are you selling these, or what is going on right now? And I thought this whole operation, like, I was like, dude, I'm not touching this. I don't know what Nick Ruthsatz is doing, but like, I don't want anything to do with like where these headphones are coming from, or any of the monetary value that comes with them. So Nick, I'm glad that you're not in jail or anything at this point. It sounds like you're doing great. So go ahead. Let's talk about that. Where did you figure out, okay, there's a market there?
Well, I've always been an entrepreneur. Like 8th grade, or like 9th grade, I would buy the Power Balance. I don't know if you remember the Power Balance bracelets. They didn't work, right? No one believed in them, in a sense. So
yeah, it's true.
I bought them online. I didn't. Now this is when I was young. Bought off a Chinese website.
So how old were you when you did this?
This was 9th grade.
Just scheming. I love
So
it.
9th grade, you're buying 9th grade. You're buying Power Balance bracelets.
Yeah.
Were they real Power Balance bracelets, or you don't know?
I don't know.
They weren't. You got them from a Chinese source.
But
so
they
were.
yeah.
They
Could
were
you hold
fake.
them? But they never. See, we took them to the real ones, and the guy said in an interview that they didn't work in the first place. So it was kind of a win-win. Like, how can you say if one works or one doesn't? It was all in your mind.
So that's how, in your head, from a moral standpoint, you were able to.
Yeah, but could you hold it in your hand?
Figure it out.
Then it's real.
It was more of a fashion
on, man.
thing.
Go ahead, keep going. So,
okay, so I did that.
I think we got the picture.
So I did that, and we were always just shoveling people's driveways, just hustling, stuff like that. Then freshman year of college, after the freshman year, the hoverboards, everyone was going crazy about those, and those didn't have a brand.
Okay.
So those were just basically, so me and a couple friends just went and bought like 10 to 15 of those, and we're just selling them right away when we got them to people we knew. Then from there, we did the training masks a little bit. But once we got to sophomore
like
year.
the Bane things?
Yeah.
Oh, the Bane. And what are those?
When they first got really popular.
And were these all bought off of Chinese markets?
Or Amazon, yeah.
Or Amazon?
Yep.
Which
There's a huge market for buying stuff on Amazon and then reselling on eBay. It's
Right.
massive, like millions of dollars.
Exactly. And
so that's where you started to realize some of the stuff was legitimate, some of it was not. Some of it was fake or knockoff, but it looked exactly the same probably felt about exactly the same. I don't
Exactly.
know about if they perform the same.
They
Maybe over time.
They do not perform the
Okay.
same over. Like it's usually 6-month gap is when something would break of some sort.
Okay, so you got a
But-
6-month window.
Enough time to get out of town.
But
Yeah.
you're looking at the policy on eBay is a
See-
month and the policy on PayPal is 6 months. So once you get up that 6 months, you're keeping the product. You're not getting your money back.
Got it.
You know.
Fine line. Love
Yeah.
it.
Okay. So
I like how your mind
So I did
works.
that in sophomore year or college. I started selling them with a couple friends, and we were just.
So like, would people be on hoverboards and then all of a sudden they would just like shatter on people?
No,
and
see,
you're like, oh, like
no. We never really had issues.
there's like a bomb in the hoverboards. Like after 6 months, the thing just like implodes.
no.
Well, you never had issues that anyone talked to you about. Meanwhile,
You're
they're at
correct.
home chucking the hoverboards against the
No,
wall
no.
and throwing them off the friggin' building like Nick Ruthsatz. I hate this guy.
They were riding them around. We were riding them to
That's
class,
harsh.
man. It was
No,
saving
not-
time.
Hate. I mean, no one probably has ever said in their life they hate Nick Ruthsatz. So I apologize.
not.
That's the
Thank
first
you.
time it's ever been said.
On camera, I'm sure.
I'm sure first time. All right, keep going. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm just
No.
I get these ideas and I just
No,
whatever.
you're fine. So we did that. We were selling them, and I had about 5 different kids selling them for me too. And we would just put up a listing a night.
Like preschoolers or
No, we're talking now college kids. With
okay,
me,
all right.
friends.
I'm just making sure.
But couple you know.
Like kindergartners across walking
No.
around with hoverboards trying
No
to sell
child
them.
labor laws were broken.
Yeah.
This is when we were on eBay. This is where I really understood with the beats. We were just selling them and one at a time on there, but we would go in and message every single person that bid. So you got 6 to 8 bidders. So you're thinking you'll put up 5 listings a night with 6 bidders, you'll probably get 20 sales. And that's before you even order the product. So then you just order it, and then we would get it and have the boxes ready and ship them out. So there really isn't any time with the product. It's go pretty quickly. And then I saw a documentary on counterfeiting and found out that it was truly illegal in a sense.
So okay.
I would always refund people. Let's take it back. Let's take it back.
Did you say in a sense?
So so technically what you're doing was illegal.
Oh, it was.
Okay. So we're okay to play this though.
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right.
I mean-
I don't want to get Nick Ruthsatz in any trouble here. Okay. We're trying to.
I feel like if I'm dealing with someone who's doing illegal things, he seems like a pretty alright dude.
Yeah. Like I don't.
This is the past. Yeah.
whoa.
Now I'm the good guy. Now I'm the good guy. No.
You're a great guy. You're not a good
Well,
guy.
no,
You're a
but
great guy, Nick.
If I want someone to install the security system on my house, like
I'll
if you
let-
broke into a house or two before, like at least I know you know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's the
I'm not
biggest
s- you know,
thing
I
I
don't
try
want
to
you to s-
sell
yeah.
on it. 'Cause, yeah, I've done it before. I know how to visualize or know if what someone's gonna say if they're selling a fake product or stuff like that more than anything. So a lot of the companies that I pitch it to, some laugh, some are like maybe mad, but it's more of a sense that I know that I can help now. And
So do you pitch them like they're gonna save money? Like
Basically,
they're
that-
gonna-
yes.
more people are gonna end up buying the
It's-
actual product. So is this like a software that you guys have developed?
right now, I do it basically by myself, by a report visually, just looking online. But we are making it right now into an autonomous system.
Right.
So basically, we type in a keyword and it searches it on 5 sites, and then takes all that data, and then collects it into one place, and then we pick out like if one seller is on Amazon and eBay selling from the same place with the same product, that means they may be a big time seller.
Right.
And with Bose, we've had 2 court cases we've been able to file with them, and so it's helped. Yeah.
That's awesome. So that's called verified.
Yep.
Okay, so Bose is who you're dealing with primarily right now, and then you're kind of fine tuning it
Yep.
right now with them.
Yep.
So do they seem pretty committed to the process?
They do. We did the reports by hand, or not by hand, but basically just week by week throughout the summer, and then from January to last year January to like June, we did a little different approach, and now they're going to be the first ones to use this autonomous system.
Okay, and how soon will that be developed, or what your goal for that?
I'm hoping by the end this summer
Okay.
we'll have that done, and then what I want to do is just license it out to companies to use as a way to stop counterfeit products.
Awesome. That's an incredible story, and I respect that. So it's such like a hustler story. I mean, that's what I like the most about it. I mean, it's a straight hustle from.
It was a tough road. It was
Lots
cold
of work,
calling.
Yeah.
Lots of work ethic.
We went all the way from the lemonade stand to verified. So I mean, it was we went from lemonade stand to hoverboards to I think I made up the lemonade stand, hoverboards. What else did we talk about, Nick? What else was on
had
there? We had training masks.
Power Balance.
The Power Balance bracelets was probably my favorite story.
I like that one.
That was a really good one. And the Power Balance ones don't work anyway, so I like how that in your head you morally found a way to figure that one out.
Yes, thank you.
So that was pretty cool. Okay. And then outside of that, you also do a ton of training. So I see a lot of videos right now, the hard over height hoops.
Yes.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I started training like my junior year of high school. I had a couple kids, and I just enjoyed, and I always enjoyed the financial aspect of, like, when I was younger, just working my way. So I remember I'd had 2 kids at $15, and I'm just like, why can't I do more? I enjoy doing this. So eventually it would grow. I was with Brad while I was playing. He would help me just kind of stay in line with some kids while I was back at school. Now that I'm not at school, it's a lot easier to come back, and now I can put it publicly.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't able to put social media aspect of it while I was playing basketball, and now that I've done that, social media has really helped it.
See, isn't that amazing that as a player, when you're NCAA player, you can't post any of that stuff training people. I mean, you can't do any sort of like true self promotion.
It's ridiculous
when you're a college athlete. I mean, it's amazing to me. And when you're a college athlete, that's when you have a lot of those guys. Those are the most people that are going to follow you, see what you're doing. Like, that's a tremendous opportunity to grow your personal brand.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that colleges aren't allowing that right now is ridiculous.
It's crazy.
Especially with where we live right now with social media.
It'll change.
You should have the ability
change.
to self-promote.
It'll change.
I mean, there should be legitimately people out there like Nick or like me or whoever, like you guys, like Greg you guys would be great at it. Like taking some of these college athletes that have great followings and getting them promotion and helping them build an actual brand, because that should be happening right now.
Right.
I mean, look at the Xavier guys. Like, there should be guys right now that should be having their branding. Trayvon Blewett scored over 2,000 points last week. He's been a starter at Xavier for 4 years. Can you imagine the brand that he can have in this city if he had a team of people working behind him? Like
how much he could help those people.
He already gets a ton of viewers. He already gets a bunch of people on him. Like, there should be a team of people like, hey, like, let's get this guy going. Let's promote him.
Yeah.
And that way, when he goes to the next level, I mean, you're adding more value to Trayvon.
I agree with you. There's just got to be some guidelines there, because, like, you could seriously get taken advantage of.
I agree there should be some guidelines, but there also, like, maybe you have certain people or certain, like, smaller companies that are cleared by, I don't know, the NCAA, I don't even know if I deal with them at all. But maybe cleared by the school or cleared by the coach. I mean, NCAA arguably is the most immoral business in the world right now.
The world seems very like a large place for you to say that.
No, but it's extremely immoral.
It's immoral.
You're dealing with
FIFA's pretty bad.
FIFA's worse.
Well, it's fine, but you're preying off of kids regardless. People that, I mean,
Yeah.
you have millionaires at the top that are very, very smart people, and they're taking advantage of
Well, and basketball is a lot different than
low income
than most
homes and
sports.
houses all across the United States.
like
And it's a disaster.
basketball is different than football in college, because the faces of basketball players are much more known than the football players. You
Yeah.
know? They don't wear helmets.
Like, this is amazing. Trayvon Blewett, how many followers do you think he has on Instagram?
25,000.
Okay, how many do you think he has?
42,000.
30.
11,000.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so
That's without work. That's just.
and that's what I'm saying. I mean, Trayvon Blewett should have 350,000 followers.
That's a lot.
I think if you have 4 years to promote him and put him in situations where he's in front of people, I think he could get for sure over 100,000. And a goal for me, if I say for me, I was working on his accounts. My goal would be 100,000 every single year. My goal would be at the end of his senior year to have 400,000. If I'm like legitimately
That's
working
fair.
on it.
Okay, that's fair.
People don't. I wish people thought like that, because that's how I like to think about like social media. I try to go and follow a certain amount of people or use different things each day to add followers, because that is in a sense the currency, because your influence over those people, and and a lot of them have been following you from the beginning. But I started mine last month in May, and at 0, and now I'm up to like 3,300 followers. Getting a little over 1,000 views, like in a day, usually on a post. But it's just work on it. It's really that's all it
Absolutely.
is. And I don't think it's a lot of people just don't put work into it. But the opportunity that you can, it's crazy.
They don't understand the influence that you can have on social
don't,
media.
they
I mean,
don't.
a guy like J.P. McCure, I hear all the time, he'd be the most hated player in college basketball if he played for Duke.
Right.
Yeah, that's like you're giving up. That's a give up statement. What does that mean? Well, J.P. McCure is a funner player to watch than Grayson Allen. I think he's a better player than Grayson Allen is. I think he is. I think JP McCure, he's a funner player. He's a more entertaining player for sure. He's a more marketable player to me. I think if you had a group behind JP, I mean, dude, he could have. I mean, maybe more followers than Trayvon. The way he plays,
yeah,
absolutely.
Oh, he would win the Xavier fan favorite in a heartbeat. But like you're still talking about Duke.
I know, but I feel like that's.
But
giving,
if Grayson
why,
if Grayson at Duke had a team as well, like he'd crush.
Yeah.
So and that's what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Duke gives you Well, Duke gives you a larger platform, but
Exactly.
but that's where I'm saying I don't know if people are like, well, you can't pay players. Well, yeah, that's the easy solution is to pay players. Well, why don't we think of other ways that we can promote these guys for success long term? It might not be a financial gain. It might be that self-promotion, marketing type deals that maybe they need, like to give them a push going forward. I mean, because athletes in general, I think, are great entrepreneurs because they have their minds are a little bit insane. They're a little bit nuts. I mean,
yeah. Most of my friends and family are the same way. They're all entrepreneurish, and to not be able to, like, some want to do photography or stuff, like to not be able to own or start a business when you're going through those years of college, especially when you're getting college paid for. If I have the opportunity to start a business then, and then when I'm out of school, really blow it up, I think that's awesome for if kids are able to do that.
I agree. There's a bunch of ways to change it, and everyone wants to make it simple, cut and dry, just money, just this and that. There's a lot of different ways where I think they can benefit all the players that play college basketball. But Nick, we appreciate your time, your value, your effort here. That was a great interview. We're going to take a short break, and then we are going to come back to go around the world.
Sounds great.
Nick, thank you. We'll see you here in a second.
Thanks, Nick.
Greg and Nick, you guys look great over there. Nick, you've been on your phone a decent. Are you doing like research on here? I'm just confused.
You didn't print off the sheet.
Sorry,
dude.
I'm just confused. What's going
Tender.
on? Yeah, sorry. You're tendering over there? Aren't you?
It's the 7 a.m. tender.
That's the hot spot for Tinder, 7 a.m.
Yeah, we got to move on quickly. Greg Wichard has a breakfast date at 8:30, so I know I got to get you out of here. But let's go topic number one. Another one. Top high school prospect goes to Duke. This time it's Zion Williamson. I mean, electric player, dude, crazy athletic ability. You can insane.
So pissed.
Every time he dunks, it looks like he should actually tear down the backboard, tear down the rim every
He looks
single
like
time.
he got beat by a backboard and he's punishing it every time.
He's got Drake wearing his uniform, but Zion, the number one forward in the class of next year, will be joining R.J. Barrett, who's the overall number one player in the nation, as well as Cam Reddish, who's the number two overall player in the nation. Duke has the number one, the number two, and the number three player in next year's
Pencil him
class.
in for the Final Four.
They also have Trey Jones, who is the number 8 player in the nation. All four of those guys, they will be playing in the McDonald's All-American game. Why are all these top prospects passing on the one-and-done school? John Calipari in UK, what's going on over there? I'm not going to frame this question at Nick Given, but but
man,
Nick being a
dude.
huge Kentucky fan, are you a fan of Kentucky or not? You don't really care? Okay.
No.
Nick, what's going on? John Calipari, he
I
can't.
literally have no clue.
The magic
He
has worn off.
He invented the game, and then
Lost to Coach
and
K.
then Coach
What
K
the heck?
just started beating him.
Is it looks? Is he not as good looking as Coach K? What happened?
I mean, he's definitely better looking than Coach K. I just have no idea. It's so sad.
Well, I
It's been
love it. I
brutal to
love
watch.
John Calipari's quote. He says, I don't sell, like, when you come here, the university and the state will take care of you the rest of your life. You may buy that, and I've got some great property and some swampland down in Florida to sell you too. A little shot.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little shot at the Dukies.
Well, maybe you should start to promise a little higher there, Cal. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
Sell that bluegrass, you know?
you got to sell the bluegrass.
It sucks.
I mean, it's not good.
It sucks.
Yeah, UK's in a tough spot, but they probably will have some returning players, considering that their team should not have many guys that should leave for the draft.
Williamson is 272 pounds with a 7-foot wingspan.
See, he's only 6'7", though, isn't he?
Yeah, he's 6'7", 272 with a 7. I mean,
What position is he?
he's a power forward.
He's anything he wants to be.
Whatever
man.
he wants
I mean, whatever gets him on the court and makes that guy happy, like, I am putting him on the court. You kidding me?
Yeah.
Hey, dude, I literally will watch his dunks for like an hour. When I can't scroll on his page without watching it, for like an hour.
He's unbelievable.
Is that weird? That I go on a 17-year-old's page and watch for an hour?
If you frame it like that, yeah, it's weird. If you said I was doing research for the podcast, it wouldn't sound weird.
I did. You know what I mean. I mean, you guys. I mean, it's
He's a freak.
insane.
He's a freak.
Once you put your eyes on him, you can't. We're gonna move on.
Yeah, you should move on.
Okay,
before
we're
you
gonna
finish that sentence.
we're gonna move on. No, Bill Walton. He's insane. Bill Walton is crazy. After the UK Florida game, which we'll talk about in a second, UK lost that game at home to Florida. Bill Walton and Dave Pasch, they called the game. It was Oregon versus UCLA. That game was in Eugene. I mean, Bill Walton is on another planet. I don't know where he's calling these games from, but rather than call the game, Bill went on to talk about how he had spent the week in Oregon and was hunting mushrooms and talked about the variety of mushrooms.
No, he was eating mushrooms.
Well, and that's where he didn't disclose, and then they literally had footage of him searching for mushrooms in Oregon. Like, it was legitimately on ESPN. He also was talking about vibrators, and I'm not sure what kind of. He was talking, I think, about like foam rolling vibrators, but it took him a while to get to that point. I want to know, because I know where I lie on this matter. I know exactly where I lie, exactly what I think about Bill Walton. But I want to know about you guys. Do you love or do you hate Bill Walton?
Give me more Bill Walton.
Give me more, Greg.
If you have the balls,
What is the picture?
Give me more Bill Walton.
See, I'll take Bill Walton.
I absolutely love
How could you not?
Bill Walton.
If you don't
Bill, the only thing that is going to get me to watch for 5 minutes Oregon UCLA, it's going to be Bill Walton. And Dave Pasch is great at his job, and he's professional, and he's really talented.
Cool.
I don't want that. I want Bill Walton talking about mushrooms.
I want Gus Johnson and Bill Walton to do every game
Gus Johnson
forever.
and Bill Walton would be the dynamic duo of all dynamic duos.
the best
That's
time.
where we're heading. The fact that we're getting more Bill Walton, and I don't remember ever getting more Bill Walton than what I'm getting right now. Give me more. Give me absolute more. Now, we're going to talk about another team that's going through a little bit of a rush patch. That is the Kentucky Wildcats. Their 68-week run in the top 25, guys, kiss that baby goodbye, because it is over, and they have West Virginia on Saturday,
And
which
they are gonna get smacked.
I
in
mean,
the
that could have
mouth.
been. I mean, Bob Huggins is
That press. We're not gonna do well against the
real
press.
deal.
and West Virginia, they take things personally. They do. And all the hype Kentucky gets, all the talk around Kentucky, West Virginia is making a point. Not that they're not in the national discussion already, but they're going to want to play against Kentucky
But
on
they
a
live
big
it.
stage. I mean, we talk about Kentucky on the show all the time because people love hearing about Kentucky. I mean, there's something about it.
And because I sit in the seat. So.
Yeah, well, and I like attacking you because you're a Kentucky fan, and I always love attacking Nick Given. But they lost at home a game against Florida. They probably should have won. They lost 66-64.
They should lose 0 games at Rupp Arena.
Yeah, they lost that game. They
Period.
did beat Mississippi State this week.
God,
a
I
very,
wouldn't have been here.
The
I wouldn't
most
have been
the
here.
most average good team in Division I right now. Just like so average, but kind of weirdly good.
Yeah.
But they're not good, but they're okay.
Yeah, it's
Is that you know?
yeah,
like,
it's not a good win, but it's not.
that was the worst description I
No,
think.
it's
I've-
actually the best
But I
description.
don't know what else to say about
was
them.
spot on.
They're bad, but they
So bad.
they kind of win games weirdly. They're a weird team. I
I
watch
honestly
them
don't.
play. I don't really
typically,
like them.
I want nothing more in life to sit around and talk about Kentucky basketball, and I don't want to. We should move on. Trey Young. Move on, Trey Young. It's
I guess
national.
we'll-
I can't talk about them anymore. They suck. They're like. I just want it to be next year.
They don't suck. They're just not. They're not a. You're used to them being in the conversation
Correct.
to win a national title, and they
Correct.
are not. I
It's
mean,
like I
they'll
feel.
be
I feel like an Ohio State fan when their football team loses 2 games.
like a
That's how I feel.
great year for them is if they win the SEC, which I don't think is going to happen, and then win 1 game in the NCAA tournament and probably lose, and that's it.
If they don't get to Sweet 16, I'm just so
I don't
disappointed.
think they're a Sweet 16 team. I don't see it.
I guess it depends
Unless
on
they
who
get the right matchup. I mean, I don't see it. They got to get the right teams. All right, we're going to go back to Trey Young, the freshman sensation that's taking over college basketball. And ESPN has this guy literally on every single second on their homepage. He's promoted all the time. When you can't go anywhere on ESPN without seeing Trey Young within a matter of about 10 minutes right now. But he had 48 points on 39 shots. That was last weekend. It was a loss against Oklahoma State, a loss that was in overtime. He played more efficient in the Kansas game, and Oklahoma beat Kansas 85-80. But the narrative from analysts is that Trae Young is taking too many shots. He changed that in the game against Kansas. You know, what is your guys' opinion on the narrative of Trae Young and the number of shots that he's taking from all these analysts out there in the country?
He's shooting 41, he's shooting 41% from the field.
Do you want me to read a stat line right now? Because I got a stat line right here.
I mean, it's insane.
I'm going to read you the stat line really quick. Or do you want to give your opinion prior to the stat line?
Throw it up, son.
Okay.
Do whatever you want.
30 points per game, 9.6 assists per game, which is close to 10 assists. So he's almost averaging 30 points, 10 assists. He's shooting 45% from the field, 40% from three, 86% from the three-point line. Oklahoma is
86%.
86%
From the free throw line.
free throw line.
Oh, I thought you said 3-point line. I was
No,
like, you're
Oklahoma's ranked number 12 in the country. They just came off beating Kansas. And the headline that I have to hear is this narrative about how much he's learned from taking too many shots in a game where they lost on the road against an in-state rival in overtime.
Who did you hear this from?
And he had 48. Everybody out there. The worst headline goes to CBS writer Reese Forgrave. The worst headline talking about how Trae Young learned a valuable lesson in that game against Oklahoma State. I can't handle it. The kid's a stud. Can we get off his back, Nick?
No.
Can we get off his freaking back?
Let it fly.
Like,
I mean, I remember when Steph Curry came out the scene and
Gosh.
ESPN was all over him. I think it's.
they're
They're similar players in a sense.
But there's sometimes in games it's like he might need to take 30 shots for them to win a game.
I mean,
he
it,
might
it
need
looks
to.
like whenever anyone else either they shoot it or they just look like, where's Trae? That's what
mean,
it looks like. to me.
He's played. There's 8 games where he's taking over 20 shots, and they've won 6 of those games. I mean, it's a lot of shots. You shoot over 20, that's a lot. 39 is probably on the high end, you know, and I get that. But they almost won that game regardless.
Yeah, but if you're shooting 45%,
If you're shooting over 40% from 3 and from the field,
throw
I
it
mean,
up. Throw it up, kid.
And the shots he's taking, he's not taking easy threes.
I mean,
either.
he's literally going 2 feet in front of half court, and he's firing.
I think the only reason
with
people
hand
are
in his
saying
face.
this are people that literally only have started watching him now.
And they're people that have never played the game,
Yeah,
like Reese Forgrave.
They like the old school. They like
I
the
hope we
old
get-
school.
I hope Reese Forgrave hears me right now. Reese Forgrave probably hasn't played basketball since he was a preschooler in his front lawn on a 3-foot basket, and he wants to talk about a guy, a freshman, who's averaging 30 and 10 that has Oklahoma in the top 15, relevant on a national stage, about
in-state
he learned a valuable lesson.
In-state
Dude,
rivalry on the road.
I'm
yeah.
good on that. And Trae Young, I listened to his post-game interview. Trae Young owes no one an apology.
No one.
Absolutely no one for what he's doing. Just keep playing. If it takes you 30 shots to win a game, go ahead. You're putting money in Oklahoma's pocket. You're getting them in a national stage. Just keep playing. Do whatever you got to do.
He's leading the nation in points per game and assists per game. He's averaging 9.6 assists per game. His player efficiency is number 1 in college basketball. The only thing that he's not doing too well at is
Turnovers.
He's leading the NCAA in turnovers.
That comes with it. How many times he has to have that ball?
Yeah, he's
but
playing.
He does need to.
He's net first in minutes too. He's playing 39 minutes a game. Like,
Well,
it's insane.
Oklahoma is like, well, we get this kid for 1 year, so we're going to run him to the bone.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
You have to. And Trae Young's embracing it and enjoying it. He shouldn't. I mean, he's so fun to watch. And I watched the game against Kansas. I would much rather watch Trae Young fire up 30 shots. It's more entertaining. Give me more shots from Trae Young. Move on to one of my other favorite players. That's JP. JP McCura, the villain. I mean, a game against Seton Hall on Saturday. We have to go back to it. But Xavier going into the game at Seton Hall, they were 0-4 on the road in the Big East since they joined the Big East Conference. That is a challenging place to win and play, especially with the team that Seton Hall has. This is their best team that Xavier has been able to play. But JP, 27 points, did everything in that game, had that incredible dunk with about a minute 20 to go. Shot came off the rim. JP came out of center field, and a dude skied up. I mean, it looked like he had a 50-inch vertical. I don't know where the heck that came from. He was like white man can't jump all over Billy Hoyle.
If you led JP's highlight tape with that, you would think that you're getting something drastically different the rest of the time.
Yeah,
That's very
because
true.
it was impressive.
yeah. I mean, I don't even know that we need to I mean, if anyone has anything to say about JP, go ahead. But I was really just I had to congratulate him on
My
an awesome
favorite.
game.
I mean, it was a great game. My favorite thing that came out of it was the picture of the fans in the background
Oh.
after it happened. That was hilarious.
That completely embodied
everything that
who
happened.
J.P. McCure is.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He's a dick.
Yeah.
He's a great player. He's fiery. And, dude, the fans are yelling at this guy all game. Just yelling
can't
at
even.
him all game, all game. And JP just dunks it,
When do
gives him
they-
the middle finger.
Do you think fans will ever realize
Not literally,
that
figuratively.
JP is just one of those dudes that loves that?
Yeah, they're idiots.
You're literally
They're
making him
idiots.
better.
Do you think, like, when watching the Marquette game, did you see him try to go into the basket and he got stuffed by the rim a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, it evened itself out.
Yeah, that was awesome. He did. Yeah, he did a backdoor cut against Marquette, and literally looked like he could only jump 2 inches.
2 inches,
and it was like, all right, we're back.
We're back.
We're back.
They
Yeah,
looked
but
really good against Marquette.
Yeah. Well, as long as we keep JP out of RP McMurphy's,
Yes.
Xavier should be fine.
Yeah.
We'll go to the other school. The other school, and Leonard Stokes isn't here. And Greg, if you throw shade at the University of
shade.
Cincinnati one time today, you're gone. You're done. You're done. You're out of here.
Okay.
You're out of here. Okay.
UC Claremont, we're fine. We're good.
Oh my, Greg.
What?
I'm calling Leonard right now. I'm gonna call Leonard right now.
And Leonard probably eats.
Should we call Leonard right now?
No, I don't know. I don't know if Leonard.
I'll call him.
We don't need to call him.
Let's talk about Gary Clark. Gary Clark, and this is probably a better question for a UC fan because I think people get frustrated when I talk about UC, but I respect the program. Gary Clark's Mr. Consistent. Gary has had 4 double-doubles in a row, game against Temple, which UC absolutely demolished Temple at BB&T Arena. He's coming off a 17-10 game that he had there. Where's Gary Clark's place in history at UC? Where does he rank? I'm saying at tiers. Is he tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 player in your eyes?
I think he'd probably be tier 2.
Tier 2?
I don't know.
He's been
had so many good. I mean, I guess it depends on how many people you can put in a tier because UC's just had so many good guys over the past. All the guys from the early 2000s, late 90s, and then
It's just
back
tough
in the
because
60s.
this team hasn't been his 4 years. The team hasn't really performed.
I mean, they've been pretty good.
I mean, they set their. I mean,
they've been pretty good.
Yeah, but what did they do in the tournament, right? Like, what? Who do you talk about? Kenyon. You talk about all these dudes that were on teams that should have won national championship.
Should've.
No, but
Should have,
well, it's the worst broken leg in
Sometimes-
history.
Yeah,
but
sometimes
they
people
didn't.
break
They
through
should have,
and-
but they didn't.
Yeah, but you still talk about them like that's.
I mean,
They're synonymous.
Gary Clark has almost averaged a double-double for 4 years.
Oh, he's like Mr. Tim Duncan of UC
Almost
basketball.
The thing is, I think it's just the way he plays that he doesn't get the recognition like
Yeah.
he should. He
He's
doesn't have
not- I
that
feel like-
flashy
yeah.
like Sean
He doesn't-
Kilpatrick. You know,
yeah.
he'll just hit tough shots and
Gary doesn't have that hype of like what Kenyon Martin had or a Kilpatrick or like that.
exactly.
I mean, I don't want to say excitement factor because I think if you're a basketball fan, like I love watching Gary Clark play. I love watching him work. Now, maybe for like the casual fan who wants to watch like a prototype NBA type guy, you're right. They're not going to get that with Gary Clark, but his consistency is remarkable.
Yeah.
I mean, it is remarkable. I mean,
Are you putting him in tier 1?
if I got 10 guys,
That's what I'm saying.
I got to put them in tier 2, and because it's tough. Because like when I think of like Van Exel, Kenyon,
Steve
Kilpatrick,
Logan, Bobby
Oscar
Brannon.
Robertson, Danny
you
Fortson,
have not said Leonard Stokes yet, bro. You better throw that in there real quick.
Leonard Stokes.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Leonard Stokes should have been my number 1, but
You
like.
got Pete Michael, Ruben Patterson, DeMar Johnson, Kenny I mean,
But I think it says a lot about Gary. The fact that I think you have to debate him. He's
he's
someone
in there.
someone that you have to at least talk about and say, okay, this is why he maybe isn't in tier 1. This is why he's like, but he's at the front of tier 2. He's a fringe guy for me. But if UC is gonna make a run, which I think they're capable. I mean, he's the guy that needs to continue. If he has 17-10, 20-10 nights, like he did against Temple, that puts UC in a good position. The main 4 guys, when we talk about Washington, Clark, Evans, I'm not forgetting anybody. Washington, Clark, Evans, and then who am I forgetting?
Broome.
No, not Broome. Washington, Cumberland.
oh,
Those 4 guys, if they're in double figures and they get a little bit of production, I mean, they're going to be a tough team to beat, especially with the way that they defend. Lastly, guys, LeBron James, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and Nick, this is more of a question for you because you're Cleveland. You're believe in the land. You believe in the troops. I mean, you, without a doubt, will be a glass half full guy if there still are glass full guys out there. Nick, the Cavaliers, they look old.
Okay.
To my left, they look old. They look really old. I mean, and they're not just getting beat right now, Nick. They're getting blasted. Like, they're losing badly. And their defense, they're arguably the worst defense in the league.
Their
Like,
defense is a big struggle right now, but what I had to really say to that, I guess, was I just trust in LeBron.
Trust in LeBron?
Trust in the GOAT.
Okay, now Will Kane was on First Take yesterday, and I like Will Kane. Will Kane made some very valid points. I won't make all the points that he said, but he said the Cavaliers need to trade LeBron. Trade LeBron right now before the deadline, February 8th. Get some players in. You're not beating Golden State. It's over. The writing is on the wall.
You do that, the economy of Cleveland.
I have witnessed Cleveland.
It's called LeBronomy.
Oh yeah.
LeBronomy is real.
It's I did a report on it, and I did a whole speech on it. It's the real deal.
But don't you think some things have changed? Cleveland has made some positive strides over the last 5 years, where I think they are in a better place now than what they were when LeBron left to go to Miami.
I believe so.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think the drop off would be
for
as
sure.
significant. I don't think it'd be.
not as
I don't think it'd be
significant.
as significant.
God, who is that?
And you have to build. You do have to build for the future. I mean, you have to have something. If LeBron leaves at the end of the year,
He's gonna go, right?
yeah, but you don't get anything. You don't get anything. They'll
I
go
agree.
back to being literally the worst team in the league.
It's like AJ McCarron. Like, we're not gonna get anything for him now because we couldn't get a trade done.
Yeah. So I mean, I think they have to seriously consider
I would love it.
at dropping LeBron, getting rid of him.
There's no way.
I just don't.
agree with you, though,
So
that-
I guess they have to really think about what are their goals, because,
How many picks do you think you get?
well, so
I'll take your first and second round picks for the next 9 years.
well, but
You
they-
can have him.
The next contract LeBron signs, I don't even want to. It's going to be ridiculous. It's
well,
gonna be
how
the
many
highest
years
paid
does
player.
LeBron
He
have
doesn't-
left,
he doesn't-
though?
Okay, so
The beginning
LeBron
of
doesn't
this
have.
year, he's been.
But LeBron only has so many years left
He's got
where he's a
3
top 10
years.
player.
3 years.
Yeah.
Max.
He signed this year. He signed the last one 3 for I think 100 million or close to that. And then
I
his
think
next
you're. I
one-
think you're dumb to sign
How
him for
about,
that
how
again.
about LeBron sending? Sorry, not changing subject, but the Instagram he did when he put the picture of a younger version of himself,
and wrote a letter. Yeah,
congratulating himself. He wrote a letter to himself
Do you-
and then put it on social media.
Do you think LeBron thinks he doesn't get congratulated enough? Because that would be like,
I think.
I mean, that would be
I
absolutely
mean, that's so
unbelievable.
weird, man.
that was
is-
his self-conscious talking to his physical self. That's what
Okay,
he was
Nick,
doing
if you
there.
ever do that, I just don't know if we'd have anything in common.
Did you see that?
Like I would have to like scale back and be like, whoa, what? Like,
I was
do
so wrong
I
about this
even
guy.
know this guy?
so wrong about this.
It's so far from anything that I think a normal human being does.
LeBron's not a normal human.
He's too influential.
Think about that. Think about you've been the
Guess,
most
but
important
God,
person.
It's weird, man.
in your
It's
sport.
so strange to me that he did that.
Do you think about when he tweets? I mean, how big are his tweets? It's like everyone in the whole world. It's like a public statement coming out.
I mean, but the guy's married. He's got 3 kids. He's a grown man.
Was he 32?
Yeah, I mean, why is he doing that? What is going
For the
on?
gram,
Like, I
for the
could see like
gram.
a 15-year-old girl maybe doing that.
No, but he's.
But
30
like, not a grown man.
But he's
And
32.
I'm sorry if I ever meet LeBron. It's not a shot at you. I want to learn.
I'm confused.
Like, I want some clarification because I'm in a gray area with
16
LeBron
years-
right now
sixteen-
because like my thing with LeBron. I'm sorry. I just
can
want to
ex-
get it in my head
I can
because
explain
okay,
to you
so
why.
I loved LeBron when he was a rookie. I hated LeBron when he was in Miami. I loved LeBron when he came back to Cleveland. And now I'm so confused. I don't know if I like LeBron or hate LeBron anymore because that really is not sitting well with me. And I had to bring it up. And I've been thinking about it all day, like since it came out. And I can't figure out if me and LeBron are friends anymore or if not enemies, but just like, hey, if I saw him, I'd be like, oh, hey, hi, LeBron.
He got famous at 16, and for 16 years, he's been the most popular player in the sport. You're
So
gonna
he's
grow
just-
up a cynical asshole.
So
yeah,
there's just
are you
nothing you
kidding?
can do. There's nothing you can do.
Bring on Williamson. I want him to have the takeover.
Exactly.
Maybe
Oh, I love that.
he'll be in the dunk contest. Be a man about it.
I hope. Greg, we're talking about LeBron and Greg's pissed about the dunk contest.
LeBron would never be in the dunk contest. It bothered me so much. Just
It's true.
The problem now, Nick, that you have for the LeBron lovers out there,
Mm-hmm.
because I want so badly to root for LeBron because I don't like Golden State. But, man, that friggin' just made it difficult on me.
That post? Oh,
Yeah.
I think you're looking too much into
His
it.
cynicism wears me out sometimes, man. Like, his interviews and, like, the way he looks and responds, I'm just like, God, don't go that far. God, man. Why does he do that? He's
little flex.
He's
He
a little
likes-
theatric.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I don't know, man. It's just his body language kills me sometimes.
He's a huge douche.
He's probably an awful person to be around for more than an hour. That's why Kevin Love probably hates him. Like, there's no chance Kevin Love probably wants to quit basketball because of LeBron. Like, Kevin Love gets so much shit, and like, if I'm Kevin Love, dude, I'm getting out of Dodge, man.
saw that
Like, I'm
headline.
getting away. Like,
saw
Kyrie, why do you think Kyrie left?
I saw a headline on ESPN that said, "Is Kevin Love the problem?"
Come on.
Come on, no.
Kevin Love's not the problem.
Of course not.
LeBron just needs to be the coach, and everything will be solved.
Man, well, we'll see what they do. It'll be interesting. That deadline's February 8th. There's a few guys out there. DeAndre Jordan, Lou Williams, there's a possible deal. They're looking at George Hill, the point guard for the Kings. Problem is, Cavaliers, they got that first-round draft pick from Brooklyn. I don't think they're going to be willing to give up that draft pick with LeBron leaving. I mean, LeBron could leave them with absolutely nothing. So,
Again,
we'll see. The cynicism of LeBron continues.
He's brought him enough.
Yeah, we would love to bring him on the show sometime. And I know we got to wrap this up.
I'm sure he'd love this inviting.
Well, we just want to clear this up. We just want to, LeBron, if you're listening, because I know you probably will listen to this. We just want to clear up your cynicism. We just want to clear. We want to clear it up. We want to go through going through that post, what you're doing at the end of interviews. But guys, that was great. Nick Ruthsatz, thank you so much for coming in the building. The unplugged interview with Nick Ruthsatz. Best of luck with everything. Feel free to reach out. You have all my contact information. Nick Given, Greg Wichard, you guys are awesome. I mean, you guys are awesome.
Shut up, Brad.
All
Let's
right.
go home.
And that is it. Be Different Podcast is out.
Peace.
Boom.